I'm the parent and teacher behind the Parent Teacher YouTube channel, and today we're going to talk about a balanced approach to beginning reading. This is basically how I taught my own kids to read at an early age. So what does it mean to have a balanced approach? Well, a balanced approach means that you teach your child to use phonics, but you also acknowledge that phonics won't work for every word. And it means that you help your child build their ability to read sight words. So what is phonics? Phonics is the understanding that letters or groups of letters can represent sounds in written words. This is what we do when we sound out words. Basic beginning phonics start with consonant sounds and short vowel sounds. Sounds for consonants are b, k, d, f, g, h, j, k, same as C, l, m, n, p, k, often taught as qu when paired with u, r, s, t, v, w, ps, y, z. Sounds for short vowels are a, e, a. Now, you may wonder, what do you mean when you say sight words? Here's the gist. Sight words are words that you recognize and read by sight. So the words that you recognize instantly. It takes time and a lot of practice to build up sight word knowledge, but having an ability to read most words by sight is what makes a fluent reader. Their ability to read without stopping and stumbling over words. Some sight words are decodable. That means they're able to be sounded out with phonics, and some are non-decodable. Even though a word may be decodable, eventually a reader will not need to decode them. Once a reader practices a word enough times, he or she will have it memorized. That's the goal. In the meantime, though, if a reader needs to sound out a word, that's okay. High-frequency words, words that are used often, like the words the and, they may or may not be decodable. They're used so frequently that we need to have them memorized in order to read efficiently, so that we can spend time understanding what we're reading. Two good high-frequency lists are the Dolch list and the Fry list. If you're unsure of what decodable and non-decodable means, let's take a look at some quick examples. The word the is non-decodable, especially if a reader doesn't know that the letters th can represent the th sound. The word and is decodable because each letter accurately represents a sound for the word. A, n, d, and. Okay, I'm going to be showing you a clip of some of my favorite things to use, but before I do that, I want you to know, as of this recording, I am not paid by any company to promote these products. I just like them. I think they're quality products, and these are the actual things I use to teach my own kids to read. So now that you've seen what goes into the balanced approach, I'm going to show you some tools and how I use those tools to help my children learn to read at an early age. So one of the first things I used were these great guided science readers from Scholastic, and they're awesome because they're awesome for many reasons, but they're really easy to use. For instance, they come in nice color-coded sets. You start with guided reading A, level A, B, what more? C is green, and so on from there. They sell a variety of these, and some go up to even levels E and F. But they're a great system, and they're very, very easy to use. Another thing I like about these is they have a great size of font. So I'm going to open this up, and you're going to see the font is very nice and large for beginning readers, which is very developmentally appropriate. Some guided reading books do not have developmentally appropriate text size, but this is nice and big. The great thing about guided readers is they follow a pattern. So it's easy for children, yes, to memorize, but easy for them to memorize it so they can start to recognize those sight words. So you're going to notice it says, I see one bat, I see two bats. Guess what's going to be on the next page? I see three bats, I see four bats. So these are nice. They focus on just a couple new sight words in each book. So for this one, it's I and C. You have words that you can discover from context. So the word 3 and 4, you can figure those out because there's a pattern and you can look at the picture to check. And then the word bats is also repeated and it's decodable. So very, very nice set of books. Excellent to start with. These were great. I used these to guide which sight words I was going to introduce to my children, which ones to teach next. So we started with counting bats. We had another set that was, I think, counting bunnies or something like that, or counting cats. And so it kind of has the same pattern, but we worked on the words I and C. So I do like using some sight word cards. You can get a set. These were from my grocery store. Or you can order some online, or you can just make your own. But I liked having these because it was a good reminder for my child when he started reading, before we started reading at night. What's this word? I. What's this one? C. And the great thing is we could pair these sight word cards with the book. So I might ask my child after they've read, okay, can you find the word see on this page? Where's the word see? Okay, you found it. Great job. What does it start with? It starts with an S. Can you find the word see on this page? And then maybe on the next page, I'm asking them to look for I or bats. So these can just be a guide. I don't use sight word cards all the way through my reading instruction for the same amount of time. With my beginning reader, we would do these because there weren't very many. So we might do them each night before we began reading our books. But then as time progressed, I whittled it down to 1 or 2 days a week that we might look at these. Most of the time we're actually spent reading in books, using our sight word knowledge in context of reading instead of in isolation. For phonics, because that's another big important part of it, we used Bob books to guide our learning. This set here is set 1. It's the beginning reader set. There's a bunch of others. You can order those on Scholastic as well, or Amazon. Anywhere probably you can find books online these days. They're a great set. This set has 12 in it. They look like this. These are nicely labeled set 1, book 1, so you know where to start. And when you open it up, on the inside, it will show you the letter sounds that are going to be worked on within this book. So this is the first one, so it introduces the sounds for M, A, T, and S. My daughter loved doing these because every time she would read one of these, she would stop at this page and review it herself. She would say M makes the sound as in moon, and so on. So just a great little reference there for a parent or a child. And then you can see the pages have a nice text at the bottom, nice text size, not a distracting font or anything. Pretty easy to read, and it focuses on decodable words. So great way to use your phonics. For parents, they're a little dry and boring, but kids seem to really like them. They think their pictures are quite funny. They are pretty silly. Again, it's working on that decoding, that phonics. Now, if your child is struggling with this, or you want to add some fun activities in with this to maybe make it a little easier, I've got some great ideas for that as well. Again, I just used the Bob books to guide what I was doing. So in that first Bob book, it has M, A, T, and S. And one of the words that my daughter usually struggled with was the name Matt. So we could write it on a whiteboard and we could sound it out. At, Matt. We could take that, let's see, I've got a little Kleenex so I can erase. We could take that and I could say, what's left now? At. And I could say, well, what if we add an S there? Now what do I have? Sat. So we can play with that in a lot of ways. Using a whiteboard was also fun. Sometimes we would combine our sight words or our decodables and make sentences. This is nice. As a parent, you can do this. You can write it and create it If your child is ready to do some writing, they can do it. They can explore and they can try. If they're not yet to the point where they're ready to be writing letters, that's perfectly fine. That doesn't mean that wordplay can't happen. So if you've got a young child that's not ready to write, you can check out something like this. I found these on Oriental Trading. It comes with some word cards. I'll show you those in a minute. But what I love is it has these great little cardboard, there goes one, little cardboard letter tiles. Now you could get magnets from the store or anything like that as well. But what I liked is these are lowercase letters, which is what your child is going to see in context in the book. So I prefer lowercase letters, but any lowercase letters you can find will work, or even capitals. I just prefer the lowercase. And they can build with those. They can build the words with those, mat, sat, anything they need to work on. They also have these little fun cards. These were great. I love the shape boxes because it actually shows you what size and shape of letter should go in that spot. So for jam, they're going to notice that letter goes down lower. For cat, they're going to see the last letters taller than the first two. But these are just great. These are fun for building phonics and phonemic awareness at the same time, which is obviously I'm a big fan of. So as we progressed, as my children worked through building their sight word knowledge and their phonics skills, they were ready to start real books, real trade books. And so I'm going to share with you the set that I love to use, which was Biscuit. I love to use Biscuit as a classroom teacher in the first grade. These were the books that always needed to be repaired. Children do love these books. They're funny, they're engaging, and they're very easy and a great start. These are from the I Can Read series, and these are my first shared reading, which is really important. Level 1 is just a little bit beyond this. So this is a great place to start shortly after starting these, once they feel comfortable. And these are kind of a marriage of these two wonderful approaches. So you've got sight words in here that they're going to hopefully, after they've gone through some of these, they'll have recognized is and maybe this. They're going to pick up the word biscuit really fast. They're going to learn the words woof, woof really fast because biscuit always says woof, woof. But they're great. They're engaging, they're fun, they're a real book. And it really brings your reader a lot of confidence to know they can read a real book. And if there's some words they haven't encountered yet, it's perfectly fine. We learn a lot more through experience than we do from sight word flashcards or pattern books. So it's fine to let them be exposed to it, just help them as they go. So I hope you like these tips, and please check out my channel for more videos. And I also want to point out that you should move at your child's pace. For my daughter, I probably spent 10 minutes or less at a time in the evening, generally. For my son, he enjoyed this quite a bit more, so he would probably try to push it for maybe 15 minutes. But we did it in very small chunks, and every child's different, so move at their own pace. And this can be and is a very long process. I know for my daughter, who is at the end of this, I would say she's more becoming a more intermediate reader. She's been working at this for a year and a half, I would say. And so it's a long process. And if your child's struggling, slow down. If you notice your child maybe isn't ready for something, take a break. There were times where we might stop working on this for a couple weeks to a month and just kind of slow down and wait for things to progress. And that's absolutely fine. For instance, as I talked about with my daughter, she's been at this for a year and a half, and she just now has finished her second set of Bob books. She just finished the kindergarten sight word set, and she just now is entering guided reading level D. So take your time with this. Reading should be enjoyable. This process should be enjoyable for you and your child. It's not a battle. It should not be a battle. And I want to let you know, the reason I chose to start my children reading early was because I knew as a teacher that when children enter school, they're expected to learn at a very fast pace. For instance, by the end of kindergarten, in many schools, they're expected to be reading at a guided reading level C independently. That means on their own by the end of kindergarten. Now, if you haven't begun any reading instruction before starting that kindergarten year, that's a really fast pace. And many young kids especially struggle to focus in school because it's new, it's busy. And despite our best efforts as teachers, it's a real struggle to get every child reading at that grade level. So I chose to start mine early because I knew as a teacher what was coming. I knew the potential for a real struggle was there. So I hope this helps. I hope if you're someone that's wanting to get started on working with your child on reading, if they're 3 or 4 or 5 and you want to get them started, these are some great tools you can use to do that. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching our channel. If you liked this video, please like and you can share. I'd love to hear comments or questions. And please subscribe if you want to check out more of our videos.